So as you see, it's quite a simple one, and intentionally I tried to find a simple web page for you. So here we go. I didn't want to distract you with lots of content for now. Later you will be able to grab information from a big website with lots of data. So for now, let's try to grab, let's say we want to extract the names of the cities from this page. So if you want to follow me, please type in this address on your address bar, so with the .html at the end. And so we've got only 3 cities here that we will be extracting, but the code that we will write will work with any number of rows here. I'll be using the IPython notebook, or the Jupyter notebook as it is called now, so it was renamed to Jupyter notebook. So shift right click and open your command line, Jupyter notebook, and I'll create a Python 3 notebook. Great. So the first thing you want to do is you want to load this source code in Python. And the way to do that is by using the requests library. So if you don't have that installed, you can just go ahead and install it with pip install requests, just like that. I have it already, so already satisfied, but the process is very easy, so you already know how to install packages with pip. And you'll also need the Beautiful Soup library. So to install that, you need to say pip install again, and not Beautiful Soup but BC4, so which stands for Beautiful Soup 4, so that's the latest version of Beautiful Soup. And then so you want to import requests, and so the first thing you want to do is load the source code, and then we start looking for HTML tags and extracting elements from those tags. But let me import Beautiful Soup as well. So from BC4 import Beautiful Soup. So that's the syntax. You're importing the Beautiful Soup class from BC4. If you are on Python 2, this should be slightly different. So you want to import Beautiful Soup directly like this. Okay, Alt Enter and go to the next line. So to load a web page, it's good to create a variable, so you can load the web page source code to this variable. So r equal to requests dot get, so the get method. So you point to the library and then to the get method, and all you need to pass here is the URL of the web page that you want to load. So in this case, pythonhow.com.example.html. So don't forget the HTML. This is just a static web page, so you should pass the HTML there. Now this should create a requests object. So we're still not there, and what you want to do is grab the content from this requests data type and maybe store it in another variable. So the content stored in the C variable like that. And if you want to check now what this C is, you'll see that this is a bytes data type, and you can print it if you want. Even though this doesn't look very nice, this is actually the source code that you see in here. So we have the head tags, the HTML tags, and everything else there. And now, here is where the Beautiful Soup comes into play. So all the request does is it loads the source code of the web page, but in a very scrambled form, as you see here. Now, if you want to make this beautiful, and extract the elements and the text and everything out of this source code, you want to use Beautiful Soup. So all Beautiful Soup does is parsing this source code and giving you what you want, so giving you the elements of the HTML tags you're interested about. So you have already loaded this content, and now what you want to do is maybe create a variable and call it soup. And that would be equal to the Beautiful Soup. And guess what you want to pass here? Well, that would be the content. And maybe another argument. So you want to specify the parser you want to use for parsing this data. And that is normally the HTML parser, so this is what you want to use almost always. If you don't specify this, you'll get a warning, but still things will work. So I normally pass it there. And once you've done that, so execute that cell. If you now print soup.prettify with empty brackets there, you'll see the source code of the web page in an organized form. So Beautiful Soup is trained to actually recognize these tags and then render them in a visual way for the human eye. However, this is just for demonstration. Normally you'll not have to actually use the prettify method a lot, because a better method to see this code, as I already mentioned before, is to, let me delete this cell, we don't need that. So a better way to see that source code is to go to your web page and go to inspect. And here you see a better syntax of the HTML code. So here you'll see that we have 3 divisions here. With a cities class, we have some more divisions here, but this is what we're interested about. So, and the body is everything. And if you expand one of these divisions, you'll see that we have an h2 tag, so a heading tag, and also a paragraph tag, so p tag and h2 tags. And also the other division, which is this one here, has this h2 tag and the paragraph tag, and Tokyo also has the same thing. So our duty now is to extract the names of these elements. So that should be the h2, the text of the h2 tags inside the cities tags. So naturally you start thinking about iterating through these boxes, which are actually divisions. So you want to go through here, here, and here, and extract what you want to extract. So we go back to the code, and what you want to do is perform a method called find all. And what you want to find is divs. So divs, but there may be lots of divs in the web page. So for instance, we have 2 more divs here, and we don't want these to be found, we only want these 3. But these 3, as you see, they have a common class attribute, which is equal to cities. So we want to make use of that, and we pass here a dictionary, which should be class equals to cities. Okay, and let me create a variable here, call it all, and execute it. Now if you print all, you'll see that the divisions have been extracted from the source code, so from the soup, which was the entire source code. And I'd like you to actually see closely here. You can see that the first division is divided by a comma here, and then the second division starts. So for Paris is a second, and it ends here, and then Tokyo starts here. So we've got a list with 3 elements, 1 for each division. Now, if you want to find only the first element with this class attribute, so cities, you'd want to use the find method. All. And so in this case, you don't get a list, but you get the code for the division, for the first division only, which happens to be a tag element of beautiful soup. So it's not a plain string, but it's a special, let's say a special beautiful soup string, so that beautiful soup knows its structure, so it knows what are elements, so where the tags are and where the text is and so on, so that beautiful soup is able to give you the information that you are looking for. So all again, so you extract the first element. Now, an alternative way to extract the first element is logically, so we have all elements here, is to use list indexing. So this object that I just showed you, the tag object of beautiful soup, supports indexing. So you execute that, and in this case, as you see, you extracted the first item of the tag object. Or you could do it like this, so you grab all of them, so here you have all of them, and 0 is the first one. You get the idea. Okay, but what if you want only the h2 tags from this div class? Well, in that case, what you'd want to do is refer to the all object and then apply the find all method again. And this time you'd want to get the h2 element. And in this case you don't have a class attribute, so you'll have to leave it like that. And you get an error because what I did here is I didn't point to this division, but I pointed to actually the list containing all these divisions. So Python is trying to get the h2, but this result set method doesn't have this h2 element. So what you want to do is you want to point to the first element of the list, and that gives you the h2 element with the tags and the text, which is like a list, so you want to perform a 0 indexing there. And if you want London only, you apply text and you get London. So this is what we wanted, right? To extract the cities. So we extracted London. Now, how about extracting Paris and Tokyo? Well, as you might guess, we need to use a for loop. But first, let me summarize what we did here. So we loaded the content up here, which is this one here, and then we loaded this content in the beautiful soup method. And beautiful soup makes this soup beautiful so that it recognizes these tags. And so what we did then is we extracted from this content, we extracted all the division elements, so together with the tags and the attributes and the text inside them. So everything inside these divisions with a class equals to cities. Then we can perform for each of these elements of this list, we can perform again a find all method. So we can find subtags of these division tags. And in this case we found the h2 tags. And then we grab the first item of the list, which in this case happened to be a list with only one item. So each of these divisions have one h2 tags. Or alternatively, you could just use find here and without using this indexing. But this is a general method. And then we apply the text attribute there, so to extract the text out of this element. So we got London. Now we need to do the same, but in this case by iterating. So for, let's say, item in all, you want to print out. So item here is this one here. So this would be the first item. So you want to print out the item dot find all, and you want to find the h2 tags from this first item, for example. So h2 tags, and then you need to apply this 0 indexing there, and you want to grab the text from this, and that's it. Here are the data. Alternatively, you could just pass p here and you get the paragraphs. So this one's here, the text. So that's the idea of loading web pages in Python and parsing them with beautiful soup and extracting text out of the web page. So sorry for if I was a bit repetitive in explaining this stuff, but I really want to make sure you understand the core concepts. On the other hand, if you found this very basic, I would say let's move on to the next lectures, where we'll be extracting some information from a more advanced website, and we'll be extracting links and not only text. So that's a real world program and a very interesting one. So I'll talk to you later.